1. We are going live. Yeah! Welcome everybody or anybody who's going to be joining us. My name is Bryant and welcome to Coffee Wednesday. I have my markers with me, which is exciting. I have my coloring sheet because I'm going to do some coloring today as we hang out together. I've got my coffee mug because I know some of you were wondering what coffee mug I'd be using. And I have my questions that I'm randomly going to be answering that are going into this awesome sombrero. So if you have your own questions that you want to ask, you can feel free and ask them on the web stream there on the little side part, and I will answer them and say hello to those who answer in there. Other than that, I hope everybody's enjoying their Wednesday. So far, it's been pretty exciting. It has rained, and now it is sunny. Being in kind of the self-quarantine is definitely a weird feeling, just because, especially being an extroverted person who not only is an extrovert, but shows affection and love to people by giving handshakes, high fives, and hugs. And not being able to do that is definitely the weirdest thing. Like when you're like, okay, goodbye, and you just kind of wave at somebody and walk away. You're like, this doesn't feel right. I felt like I should have hugged you or at least given you like a handshake. And yet we're not doing that because we're trying to keep each other healthy. I find myself washing my hands, at least 93 times a day because that's what you're supposed to do. And just, continually finding new ways to keep myself, occupied. So with that, I'm done folding these. I'm just going to throw them into the hat now. And let's see. Our first question. How do I feel about wombats? Well, I've never met a wombat, and I don't think I've seen a wombat in a zoo. If I have seen a wombat in a zoo, it has been to my lack of knowledge. I'm betting that wombats are super awesome, and I think you can find them in Australia. Let's find out. Since I have this handy-dandy device here, wombats. Hey, look, it's an animal. But we all knew that. Oh my gosh, they're the most adorable things in the world. I would like a wombat. Where can I find wombats? Lifespan, types, wisdom. They are in Australia. I knew it. I knew you could find them in Australia. Oh, well, they look so cute. Everyone needs a wombat. I've decided, although I'm probably going to find out that wombats are like super scary animals or something like that. But look at them. They're so cute. Look at it. Oh, well, definitely going to go find more wombats. All right. Let's see what our next question is. Our next question before I start doing some coloring as well. Let's see. What's the first movie that made me laugh out loud? Well, I don't really remember. Like, I know that I laughed a lot in my childhood because it's just who I am. I know I laughed probably in like Flubber, like with Robin Williams, or Aladdin with Robin Williams. It's just, I like laughter. Laughter is a good thing. I don't think I laughed in Lord of the Rings, though. And if I did, I don't remember it. Let's see. If you were a bagel, what type of bagel would you be? If I was a bagel, it'd be a pizza bagel. Oh my gosh, why did I even have to think about that? Pizza bagel is probably the best type of bagel to be because not only are you a bagel, but you are also pizza. And who doesn't love pizza? Just makes sense. Let's see. What other questions do we have for today? Do you believe in aliens? I'm guessing this means like the outer space kind of aliens. And I believe, as unique as life is, I believe that there probably is in somewhere, in some planet, in some far off galaxy or distance, there is some other extraterrestrial life form. Do I believe we've been visited by them? Not really sure. I don't feel like there's actual evidence. Area 51 aside. What's the first movie that made you cry? I don't know. I've cried in a lot of movies. I don't know what the first one is, though. Remember, let's see. Embarrassingly, I remember crying in like A Walk to Remember, which is so funny to think about now. I don't think I would cry again. But, you know, Mandy Moore passing away is just sad. Let's see. All right, we'll answer 3 more questions, and then I'm going to color my Triceratops. What job could you never imagine doing? I could never imagine being a scientist in either Antarctica or on the International Space Station because they are very isolating. And as I've already said, I'm not a big fan of this whole isolation thing. Ooh. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would be your very first expense? I think my first expense, aside from like paying all of my like debts and things off, I think my first expense would be probably purchasing a new vehicle for the family. I love my truck that I'm running right now, but if I could get a truck with a few more seats in it and that was in a little better condition than mine is, I would definitely go ahead and buy it. And finally, what skill do you wish you had? Actually, I can think of 2 skills that I wish I had. So one skill is, as I've been starting to be on YouTube and starting all this whole adventure, I would love to have more video editing skills and understanding video editing equipment. The other thing I would love to have as a skill is playing the guitar. Once again, I have started playing guitar and I've slowly learned chords and things like that, but it is not a true skill that I have, and I would love to have either of those skills and the skill of like extra languages. I think it's something that just we as even simple Americans, like just people who have grown up in this country and not been given 2 languages from the start of our childhoods, I think that's something that we've lacked. So the fact that I don't fully know another language to a point of where I could walk into another country or into a place where that other language is being spoken and fully understand what's happening, I think that is a disservice to myself and probably to those people too, because I feel like you cannot. I mean, you can give some respect towards cultures, but until you can understand how they're actually speaking, I think that's somewhere that we are amiss. All right, one more question. Nope, I don't know the answer to that question. What's the biggest misstep you've ever taken? I know I've taken some. I know I've taken many, but I don't know what the biggest one I've ever taken is. That's hard to say.
Hi.
Hi, KJ.
What's up?
Not much. Just on my live stream for Youth Coffee Wednesday.
Hi, Youth Coffee Wednesday, folks.
Here's a question. Okay, here we go. I'll ask you this question too.
Okay.
What song lyric best mirrors your life motto?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
You go first.
What song lyric best mirrors my life motto? I think right now is either Olaf's song "Everything Will Make Sense When I Am Older" or "Into the Unknown." It really is either of those songs right now because that's how this whole time feels like.
Because I was totally going to say Frozen too. But for me, it's Let It Go, Let It Go.
See?
Everything I need to know in life, I learned from Frozen.
I think that's, you can learn a lot from life in Frozen. Like what happens in the summer to snow.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. These are all great things.
Bye, folks. Bye, T.
We'll see you later. Have you ever screamed help? And if so, why? I think I have screamed help before in my life. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever screamed it to a point where like I actually truly like was in dire need of help. Or sometimes I was doing it, unfortunately, as the boy who cried wolf, and did it out of just a scaredness. Not scaredness. That's the wrong word. I wasn't scared. It was more of just like wanting the other person to be there as I was doing something silly or trying to understand something better. So like needing help in the kitchen, or when somebody is like, if you need help, holler for me, and then jokingly then yelled help because, you know, they told me to do so. I think those are definitely the times in which I've screamed help the most. All right. It's time to do some coloring on my Triceratops for my bulletin board. If you would like to color something and put it on my bulletin board, you can easily do so and send it to Advent Lutheran Church in Mill Creek, Washington, and I will gladly post it up here, and I will even talk about it in an upcoming video. And thank you for your awesome colorings. Because coloring, I feel like, especially now, is something that could be very soothing through all of just this chaos of understanding, you know, this pandemic of COVID-19, but also, you know, just trying to understand a new way of doing community that isn't always about being in a physical space with other people. I think that's something that's really difficult for people, especially folks who are extroverts or who have just thrived at being a community, have a hard time understanding. You know, how do we continue to be in community with each other when we have to distance ourselves, even though, you know, your best friend lives down the street from you, or, you know, even when we think, you know, you can't have community without being in the same room with each other. I think that's something I've definitely found in the last couple of weeks, as I've done, you know, video together with other people. I think that's one of the crazy things to find right now. I'm gonna bring that in a little closer so I can continue to watch. My Wi-Fi signal keeps going in and out. Hopefully you're sticking with me. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here right now, a part of Coffee Wednesday. Today's coffee is brought to you by, and I actually need to go refill my mug here soon. Today's coffee is brought to you by Euban, you know, your generic church coffee that you will find at any Costco. It was the first thing I found in the coffee cupboard this morning and wasn't willing to look further. Even though after I did look further, I saw that we had the Equal Exchange coffee, and that would have probably been good too, but actually probably would have been better than what I'm drinking, but that's okay. So how are you folks doing? Are you having a good day? Are you enjoying the crazy weather at wherever you are at? I was talking with a couple folks today, and we were just talking about the craziness of the weather and the fact that this morning, as I got into work, it was downpouring. And now as I look outside, there are beautiful blue skies. And, you know, you're like, oh, it wasn't raining, you know, cats and dogs 20 minutes ago. Oh, I'm going to close that. There we go. That's better. Now I don't have the sunlight blinding out half of my face. Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll answer a few more random questions here in a second. If you have questions that you would like to ask, you can feel free to ask them over in the comments section as we continue to go, or you can feel free. Let's see. It says I'm unable to connect to chat. Please try again later, but I want to try right now. Let's see what happens if I say my own thing. On random questions here. And bada bing. Let's see. Hopefully I'm still actually streaming. I think I'm still streaming. I mean, I hope I'm still streaming. If not, this is really awkward because I'm now sitting in front of a camera and nothing is happening, which would be, you know, which would also, I guess, not be too surprising. Let's see who's. Nope, nothing exciting there. But all right. So when you were a kid, did you find yourself, when you were coloring, did you find yourself always wanting to color inside the lines or outside the lines? My wife's family used to, as they were coloring, especially on coloring pages like this, they would start asking, like, "Oh, what's missing from from the picture? Oh, clearly somebody forgot to draw in all the extra birds," and then really allow the kids and allow them to be more creative about what they were putting in the drawing. The other thing I think that happens as we get older is sometimes we have a hard time going away from our traditional colors of what we believe things are. For instance, we go away from wanting to color palms on trees not green. And because it's like, well, but that's not the regular color. Maybe it's yellowish, or maybe sometimes you see reds in the leaves on trees, but purples. I mean, I have not seen purples. However, I've not been to many tropical destinations where maybe they do have purple leaves. Maybe the hue of the sun hits the leaves in such a way that they turn purple, which in itself would be fascinating. It's funny how much you find yourself as I'm sitting here trying to color and trying to be online at the same time. I find myself being very quiet and very focused because I don't want to miss out, or I don't want to color outside the lines. Which, when I was 6, I was coloring outside the lines all the time. I probably got in trouble for coloring outside the lines. But there's something just so calming about trying to just get right to the edge of the lines and then allowing to, just stay inside sometimes. I know there are some types of abstract art where they'll have it so it looks like people have colored in and outside the lines too, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see what else is going on today. In other things today, I have really enjoyed just how quiet it is. There is something, and I was saying this to somebody the other day about why I get up in the mornings, and why I really enjoy mornings, is because of the fact of the moment of silence that's there. I'm just sitting in that peace and listening to the sounds of creation around me, and just enjoying. Even in that quick moment of silence, there's so many things that we could hear that we wouldn't. And I think that's really fascinating.